I was standing in front of him wearing nothing but a white silk nightgown when I said the words that would change everything between us. "Touch me." His jaw tightened. Those dark eyes that had remained cold and empty for 3 months suddenly flickered with something dangerous. Something that made my heart race and my skin burn. "Rihanna, go back to your room." His voice was low, controlled, but I heard the crack in it. The first sign that the Ice King was melting. No, I had never been this bold in my entire life. But 3 months of living like a ghost in his mansion had pushed me to the edge. 3 months of sleeping in separate rooms, 3 months of eating alone. 3 months of being married to the most powerful man in Seoul, while being treated like I didn't exist. I said go. And I said no. My voice shook, but I didn't move. "You made a vow on our wedding night. You said you would never touch me. But I'm asking you to break it." Welcome back to my channel, beautiful souls. If you're enjoying this story, please hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and comment below where you're watching from. This is an emotional journey about breaking walls, finding love in the coldest places, and the courage it takes to ask for what your heart truly wants. If you're new here, subscribe and stay with me till the end, because this story is going to take you on a ride. Now let's continue. 3 months earlier, my father had made the worst mistake of his life. He borrowed money from the Korean mafia to save his failing business. When he couldn't pay it back, they came for collateral. They came for me. I remember the day Joon-seo walked into our small apartment in Itaewon. He wore a black suit that probably cost more than our entire year's rent. His presence filled the room like smoke, suffocating and impossible to ignore. My father was on his knees, begging. I had never seen him so broken. "Please, give me more time. I'll get your money." Joon-seo didn't even look at him. He was looking at me. Those coal black eyes studied me like I was a problem he needed to solve. "Your daughter," he said simply. "I'll take her as payment." My mother screamed. My father cried. But I was numb. I knew what this meant. Girls like me didn't come back from deals with men like him. "You'll marry me." End quote. Joon-seo continued, his voice empty of emotion. "Your father's debt will be cleared. You'll live in my home. You'll have everything you need. And if I refuse?" I asked, surprised by how steady my voice sounded. "Then your father dies tonight. Your mother next week. You the week after. I always collect what I'm owed." So I said yes. What choice did I have? The wedding was cold and quick. A courthouse ceremony with 2 of his men as witnesses. No white dress. No flowers. No promises of love. Just signatures on paper and a ring that felt like a shackle on my finger. That night, in his penthouse that overlooked the glittering Seoul skyline, he brought me to a bedroom. It was beautiful, decorated in soft whites and creams, but it felt like a prison. "This is your room," he said from the doorway, not stepping inside. "Mine is down the hall. I want to make something clear. Rihanna, this marriage is a business arrangement. Nothing more. I will never touch you. You will never come to my room. We will live separate lives under the same roof. Do you understand?" I should have felt relieved. Instead, I felt something else. Something that hurt in a way I couldn't explain. Why? The question escaped before I could stop it. Because I'm not the man who ruins innocent things. His eyes were hard. And you're too innocent for the darkness I carry. Then he left, closing the door behind him. That was the last real conversation we had for weeks. Life in his mansion was strange. I woke up alone. Ate breakfast alone. Spent my days reading in the library or walking through the garden alone. Sometimes, I would see him leaving in the morning, surrounded by his men, all of them armed and dangerous. Sometimes I would hear him come home late at night, his footsteps heavy in the hallway, always stopping before they reached my door. We were married, but we were strangers. His staff treated me with respect but kept their distance. I learned quickly that Joon-seo was feared by everyone. He ran the largest criminal organization in Seoul. Drugs, weapons, protection, gambling. If it was illegal and profitable, he controlled it. Men twice his age bowed when he entered a room. I started watching him when he didn't know I was looking. The way he moved with lethal grace. The way his jaw clenched when he was angry. The way his hands, decorated with expensive rings, could probably kill someone without hesitation. He was beautiful and terrifying in equal measure, and I was falling for him. I didn't want to. God knows I fought it. But loneliness does strange things to the heart. It makes you crave attention from the one person who refuses to give it. It makes you notice small things, like how he always made sure there were fresh flowers in my room, even though he never mentioned it. How the cook always prepared my favorite foods, even though I never told anyone what they were. How new books appeared in the library, all in English. All genres I loved. He was taking care of me while pretending I didn't exist, and it was driving me crazy. Everything changed one night 2 months into our marriage. I couldn't sleep, so I went downstairs for water. I heard sounds coming from his study. Against my better judgment, I pushed the door open. He was there, slumped in his chair, a glass of whiskey in his hand, blood dripping from a cut above his eyebrow. "Get out," he said without looking up. "You're hurt." I said, "Get out, Rihanna." But I didn't. I walked to him, grabbed the first aid kit I found in his desk drawer, and knelt beside his chair. "Don't touch me." Too late. I cleaned the wound as gently as I could. He tensed under my fingers but didn't push me away. This close, I could smell his cologne mixed with whiskey and something metallic. Blood. Not all of it was his. "What happened?" I asked softly. "Business. The kind that gets you killed. The kind that keeps you safe." Our eyes met, and for a moment, just a moment, I saw past the ice. I saw exhaustion. Pain. A man who carried the weight of an empire on his shoulders and had no one to share it with. "You don't have to do this alone," I whispered. His hand caught my wrist. Not rough, but firm. "Yes, I do. This is my world, Rihanna. Dark, violent, unforgiving. You don't belong in it. I'm already in it. I'm your wife, on paper only." He released my wrist and stood, putting distance between us. "Go back to your room. Forget what you saw here." But I couldn't forget. That night changed something in me. I stopped accepting the silence. I started leaving my door open. I started eating dinner in the main dining room, instead of my room, even though he never joined me. I started saying good morning when I saw him, even though he rarely responded. I was fighting for scraps of attention from a man who had vowed to give me none. Then came the night that broke me. I was in the city with his driver, buying books, when I saw them, Joon-seo and a woman. She was stunning. Korean. Sophisticated. Everything I wasn't. They were at an outdoor restaurant, and she was laughing at something he said. Laughing. I had never seen him smile, let alone make someone laugh. The jealousy that crashed through me was violent and irrational. I had no right to feel this way. He had made it clear we were nothing to each other. But my heart didn't care about logic. I went home and cried. I cried for the girl who got sold to pay her father's debts. I cried for the wife who slept alone every night. I cried for the woman who was stupid enough to fall in love with a man made of ice. The next morning, I was done. I found him. In his study, working on his laptop. I didn't knock. I just walked in and closed the door behind me. "We need to talk." He looked up, surprised. I never interrupted his work. "I'm busy. I don't care." My voice was stronger than I felt. "I can't do this anymore, Joon-seo. I can't live like a ghost in your house. I can't keep pretending this is normal. What do you want me to say? I want you to tell me the truth. Why did you really marry me? You could have killed my father. You could have taken your money in a dozen other ways. Why this? He stood slowly, his face unreadable. Because the moment I saw you, I knew you were dangerous. Dangerous? I'm nobody. I have no power, no connections, nothing. Exactly. He moved closer, and I saw something raw in his eyes. You're innocent. Pure. Everything. I'm not. And I knew if I let you go, some other monster would take you. At least with me, you'd be safe. Safe? I laughed bitterly. I'm dying here, Joon-seo. Slowly. Every day. You won't talk to me. You won't look at me. You treat me like I'm invisible. It's better this way. Better for who? You? Because it's torture for me. You'll get used to it. No. I stepped closer. Close enough to see the gold flecks in his dark eyes. I won't. And you know what the worst part is? I saw you yesterday. With that woman. And I felt like my heart was being ripped out of my chest. I have no right to feel that way. You're not really my husband. But I can't help it. His expression changed. Something like anger, maybe. Or fear. You don't know what you're saying. I know exactly what I'm saying. Number 4. I'm over 1. I have feelings for you, Joon-seo. Real feelings. And I know you feel something too, even if you won't admit it. Leave my study, Rihanna. Not until you tell me the truth. The truth? His voice dropped to something dangerous. The truth is that I think about you every second of every day. The truth is that I stand outside your door at night and fight the urge to walk in. The truth is that you've gotten under my skin in a way no one ever has, and it terrifies me. Is that what you wanted to hear? My breath caught. Classed. Then why won't you let me in? Because I ruin everything I touch. And you deserve better than the darkness I carry. For 3 days after that conversation, he avoided me completely. He left before dawn and came home after midnight. But I felt his presence. I felt the tension building like a storm, ready to break. On the 4th night, I made my decision. I couldn't live in this limbo anymore. Either he wanted me, or he didn't. Either this marriage was real, or it wasn't. So I went to his room. He was standing by the window, still in his suit, a glass of whiskey in his hand. He turned, when he heard the door open. Rihanna, what are you doing here? I need to ask you something. I walked to him, my heart pounding so hard I thought it might break through my chest. And I need you to be honest with me. Go back to your room. Do you want me? The question hung in the air between us like a live wire. It doesn't matter what I want. It's the only thing that matters. I was standing right in front of him now. Because I want you. I want this marriage to be real. I want you to break your vow. You don't know what you're asking for. Then show me. His control snapped. I saw it in his eyes. The moment before he moved, the glass fell from his hand. His fingers tangled in my hair. And then his mouth was on mine, desperate and demanding, and everything I'd been dreaming about for months. He kissed me like a man, starving, like I was air and he'd been drowning. His hands were everywhere, pulling me closer, like he couldn't get enough. Tell me to stop, he breathed against my lips. Tell me to stop, Rihanna, because if you don't, I won't be able to. Don't stop. That night, Joon-seo broke his vow, and I stopped being just a name on a marriage certificate. The next morning, I woke up wrapped in his arms. The cold, untouchable mafia boss was holding me like I was something precious, something worth protecting. I was wrong, he said quietly, his fingers tracing patterns on my shoulder. I thought keeping you at a distance would keep you safe, but all I did was hurt us both. So, what happens now? Now? He pulled me closer. Now I stop pretending I don't love you. Now I let the world know that you're mine. Now I protect you with everything I have. Even from yourself? I would taken there were form. He smiled. It was the first real smile I'd ever seen on his face, and it transformed him completely. Especially from myself. But happiness in the world of the mafia is always temporary. 2 weeks later, his rivals found out about me. They found out that the Ice King had melted. That he had a weakness. They came for me on a Tuesday afternoon. I was in the garden when men I didn't recognize surrounded me. Guns drawn. Faces cold. But Joon-seo's training had prepared his staff well. His men appeared. Within seconds, shots fired, chaos erupted, and through it all, Joon-seo appeared like an avenging angel. Fury in his eyes. Death in his hands. When it was over, when the threats were eliminated and I was safe in his arms, he held me so tight I could barely breathe. "This is why I didn't want to love you," he said into my hair. "Because now you're a target. Now you're in danger because of me. Then we face it together." I pulled back to look at him. "I didn't ask you to break your vow so we could go back to being strangers. I asked because I was ready for all of this. The danger, the darkness, all of it. As long as I have you." He kissed me then, soft and gentle, so different from the violence that had just erupted around us. "You're the bravest person I know," he whispered. "No." I smiled. "I'm just a girl who fell in love with a man made of ice and refused to let him freeze her out." 6 months later, we renewed our vows. This time with flowers and family and promises that meant something. This time when he said, "I do," I knew he meant forever. The mafia boss who swore never to touch his bride couldn't keep his hands off her now. And the virgin who had been brave enough to ask for what she wanted got everything she'd dreamed of and more. Because sometimes, the greatest love stories start with the breaking of vows. Sometimes you have to be bold enough to ask for what your heart wants, even when the answer might destroy you. And sometimes, just sometimes, the coldest hearts melt under the warmth of someone who refuses to give up on them.